This tutorial will talk about some different ways to create some creativity within your multiplicity images. So you're able to see in this picture how you can really see the movement of the diver here. So something that works well for this is creating a low opacity for some of these images, and that's able to really show the movement because you're able to see the motion blur almost and make it look like she's moving quickly through these steps. So if you have an image showing movement or motion, this is a great idea to try out. So something that works well is varying your opacity. So this one on the left here is not as low of an opacity as some of these over here. So that's something to think about with the opacity, especially if you have a lot of overlap. That will work well. But starting out in Photoshop, if you have your multiplicity all put together, that's the first step, is getting it completed and put together. And then on your actual image layer, so I'm going to make sure I have my image selected and not the mask, I'm going to click on the opacity and lower it. So you can see that that opacity is automatically lowered. And again, it tends to work well on images that have a little bit more movement instead of something that's sitting or standing still, but definitely try it out for some creativity. However, I would make sure you're not just doing one area with a low opacity. That's going to make it stand out too much, so maybe choose another section where you could try to take the opacity down a little bit. It doesn't necessarily have to be as much as the last one, but just experiment a little bit with those different opacity settings. Something else you could try is possibly making your image have a different overlay. So some of these with a different blending mode. So where you go to normal, just kind of click through and see if any of those create an interesting effect on your image. So some will obviously work better than others. So this one doesn't work very well because you can see areas that were erased. But there's some that might create a subtle difference that would be kind of interesting to look at. So this one here, you can see a little bit through the image, but it creates that interesting color. So definitely try clicking through some of these overlays. It will work a little bit better for some images compared to others, so see if that does anything interesting for any of your layers. The other thought is trying to create an image in black and white. So maybe I wanted just this dog to be in black and white and everything else in color. So that's one idea that you can try. So if I find the layer that I want to make black and white, so this dog here, I'm going to click on that picture, and then I'm going to use my selection tool. So I'm going to look through and find my quick selection tool, which is right in the magic wand if you have that selected. Then I'm going to click and drag across my dog, so across your area, so that quickly selected. And then I'm going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and then black and white. So that's something else you can try. So if I hit OK and then Command D for deselect, I have just that one dog in black and white and everything else is in color.